on state radio and state newspapers and state television that they have wrung significant concessions from the United States. What have we sold out? What have we betrayed to save these two journalists? That's the question I want to know. That's the question nobody wants to answer. But that is the mother of all questions. Let's quickly go to Grant in Portland. Grant, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Hey, Jeff, I agree with everything you've been saying. I only have one comment about South Korea. And there are at least, least favorite ally in the Pacific Rim.
Why?
They backstabbed us for years. They've been protesting against us. And the only good thing about this is I can't wait to see how they react to this. And I hope they enjoy having Kim Jong-il empowered.
Hold on. I mean, Grant, you seem very hostile to the South Koreans. I mean, how have they backstabbed us in the back? What have the South Koreans done to us except been exceptional allies?
Well, not in recent years. There have been many protests that they wanted us out of South Korea. And I'm just saying, maybe this will turn them around and make them become better allies.
Well, look, Grant, there's no question about it. There is a left-wing movement in South Korea, a pacifist, peacenik movement. And like many liberals, they have their liberals. We have our liberals. They suffer from a mental disorder. Our liberals suffer from a mental disorder. They believe that the American presence out of South Korea is, in fact, going to help bring about peace. All it will do is it will embolden North Korea to attack South Korea once again. But they have now elected a conservative, pro-American government. The majority of South Koreans are clearly pro-American, clearly want the American troops to be there. But I have to say, Grant, it goes to a deeper level. One of the great accomplishments of the United States, and we as Americans, we neglect this, and I believe it's to our detriment, is that we have helped to democratize and bring about free markets and prosperity to much of Asia. We have turned traditional enemies like Japan into stalwart allies. And the South Koreans stood by us during the Korean War. They have stood by us throughout the entire Cold War. They have built one of the most prosperous, successful, and democratic countries, not only in Asia, but across the entire world. They have created a model for people in Asia to emulate. And I believe, deep down, you want to see the difference between the left and the right? You want to see the difference between socialism and capitalism? Just look at North and South Korea. Literally at night, all of North Korea is dead. It is dark. They can't even provide their citizens with the basic electricity to be able to heat their homes and light their streets. South Korea is a hubbing Western-style democracy. Seoul, the electricity is on all night. The discotheques are on all night. The traffic jams are all night. People are making money hand over fist in South Korea. It is the exact opposite of North Korea. South Korea now has an obesity problem. North Korea has a starvation problem. This is the difference between the two systems. And now our South Korean and Japanese allies are going to ask themselves, our citizens have been abducted. Our citizens have been kidnapped. They're rotting in North Korean prisons and jails. Yet the State Department always tells us, hey, whoa, be patient. Yet now the Americans send Bill Clinton and they free their two journalists, probably in exchange for some kind of nuclear concessions. What the hell is this? And so my question to Bill Clinton is a very simple one. What is American blood? Is Japan and South Korea, who are our bulwarks against North Korea and China? Remember, if there's a war there, they're the ones that are going to die. They're the ones that are going to suffer. Why aren't you defending their interests? No, Obama is more interested in North Korean dictators and in Chinese murderers and in Russian gangsters and Islamic fascists. He cares about their opinions, but he doesn't care about the opinions of our allies. And that, my friends, is why Barack Obama is slowly leading this country to ruin and defeat and destruction abroad. He is the worst president, not since Jimmy Carter. He is the worst president in the history of our republic. This is Jeff Kuhner sitting in for the living legend Michael Savage on the Savage Nation. Savage.
Michael Savage. I can relate to him.
The Savage Nation. Weekday afternoons 3 to 7. Talk 910 KNEW.
This is Jeff Kuhner from the Washington Times sitting in for Michael Savage on the Savage Nation. Do you think that Bill Clinton's trip to Pyongyang was a success? I want to hear from you. I have to tell you, according to Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, she certainly thinks it was a success. They are glowing, both her and Bill. This has clearly been very, very, very successful for them. They are now obviously showcasing their power, their ability, their relevance on the world stage. And here's what she had to say after the two American journalists were released. Roll it, boys.
I was very pleased to get the news that my husband's plane had taken off from Pyongyang with the two young women on board. They are on their way to California, where they will be reunited with their families. I had a very brief conversation with my husband. We did not go into the details of some of the questions that you're asking. There'll be time to talk about that later. This was mostly just to communicate directly how relieved and pleased he was and we are with the successful completion of this mission.
Well, I mean, it was certainly politically successful for the Clintons. There's no question about that. I can see why they're glowing. This enhances Bill's prestige, and more importantly, it enhances Hillary's prestige. And clearly now they've upstaged Barack Obama, and they continue to wage their guerrilla war against Barack Obama. And, you know, my friends, I really want to stress this point to all of you. A lot of conservatives are under the illusion that Hillary is going to run a primary challenge against Barack Obama in 2012. I'm telling you, forget about it. It's a pipe dream. The Clintons would never do that. They would never do what Ted Kennedy tried to do against Jimmy Carter in 1980, and here's why. If Hillary ran against Obama in 2012 for the Democratic presidential nomination, the African-American community would never forgive the Clintons. And without the African-American community, the Clintons could never get elected to the White House. In fact, no Democrat could get elected to the White House without the African-American vote. But what they're trying to do is they are trying to undermine this president at every turn. They are waging an internal sabotage campaign so that he loses in 2012 to a Republican challenger, and then she will emerge as the Democratic heir apparent and the Democratic champion in 2016. And this is part of that concerted political effort. They have politically won. Barack Obama has politically lost. But more than that, the country has lost because of this betrayal. Let's quickly go to Holly in Las Vegas. So anyway, my friends, really what is happening here is a concerted political effort by the Clintons to now seize the initiative from Barack Hussein Obama. And my friends, I have to tell you, it is not just the Clintons. If you look at every issue in front of the Obama administration, whether it be the stimulus package, whether it be the budget, whether it be health care or cap and trade, our comrade-in-chief, our commander-in-chief is asleep at the wheel. The Democrats in Congress are running this administration. And now the Clintons are running this foreign policy. This is not a president. He's a joke. This is Jeff Kuhner filling in for Michael Savage on the Savage Nation.
Michael Savage. Afternoons 3 to 7 on Talk 910 KNEW and online at 910KNEW.com.